to learn about functions in Python. So what is a function? There are many situations in a program that you need to repeat a particular task many times. Consider a program to calculate the square root of a number. Remember that this program was written in a previous lesson. Now imagine a situation wherein you need to calculate the square root of a number in different places of an algorithm. The question is, do you need to type the entire program every time that you need to calculate the square root of a number in different places? Of course, the answer is no. That would be very time consuming and very inefficient. So what is the solution? The solution is that you can give a name to a piece of code, and every time that you need it, just refer to it. In technical terms, when you give a name to a piece of code which does a particular task, you are defining a function. And every time that you want to execute that piece of code, you call the function. Let's see what is the Python function format. To start a function definition, you start with the keyword def. This is a keyword, and every function definition has to start with this keyword. After the def is the name of the function, and you can give your function any name that you like as long as it is a valid name. Next, you need a pair of matching parentheses. Inside the parentheses, you can put optional input parameters. Optional means that you can have a function with no input parameters, or you can have with one or two or more parameters. After closing the parentheses, you must have a colon, and colon is always required. The body of the function consists of one or more statements, which all of them have to be tabbed. Any statement which is not tabbed will not be part of the function. To emphasize, the blinking components are the required components for defining a function. Now let me give you an example in the Python environment. As usual, I open the IDLE and then open a blank text editor, and then save this text editor under a name which I can find. Now I will start to write my function. On the top line, I'm going to put a comment which says this function prints hello there when it is called. So the only thing it does, it only prints hello there. And then of course I have to start writing the function with the keyword def. The name of the function is hello, and since it doesn't need any input, I have an open and close parenthesis followed by a colon, and the only line in the body of a function is print hello there. Now if I run this program, you see that nothing happens in Python. The reason is that even though you have a function, but you never called it. So what you have to do, you create a main program which is going to call the function. Here's my main program, which consists of a single line, and that single line says hello, open parenthesis and close parenthesis. That basically means that go and call the function or invoke it. So what Python does when it sees this line, it goes to the inside the function, and of course the only thing which it does, it says hello there. Now let's make it more interesting. Let's call this function 4 times. To do that, I will write a for loop, and I create a range from 1 to 5. Again, remember that when I say range 1 to 5, it actually goes through 1 through 4. And then inside the for loop, I'm going to call the function hello. And if I call this program now, you see that the hello there is shown 4 times because we called the function 4 times. Notice that the k, the variable k in the for, is not used in the body of the for loop, and it has no purpose other than repeating the for loop 4 times. If you really want to know what happens, let's print the k value as well, so you see what is really happening. So I'm adding a print statement which says k is equal to, and then comma, and variable k. So now when I run this program, the for loop will be repeated 4 times, and it will print the statement k is equal to k, and then calls the hello function, and you see the result. Now let's have a little modification and pass something to our function. So I have modified the function such that whatever you give him as input string, then it will take your input string and prints a statement which says your input string is, and then it repeats your input string. So now in my main program, I will call the function and give him a string like dog. And as you can see, the function will be called 4 times, and each time it will repeat the string which is given to it. Of course, you don't have to call the function with a dog. Just to make sure that you understand this, let me define a variable called s and put it equal to dog, and then pass s to the function. This shows you that when you call a function, you can use a variable as long as it matches the format of a function. For example, in this case, my function hello requires one variable to be passed to it. So when you call it, you have to pass one variable to it, and you cannot pass 2 different things to it, because the definition of the function requires one variable. So what did you learn in this lesson? You learned what is a function. You also learned how to define a function in Python, and you learned how to call a function in Python.